What would we do without the heroes at tech support? Now enjoy. Quick and dirty solution comes back to bite you. Working at a help desk company with about 50 to 100 customers, mostly involved in projects either internally or for our customers. But I get my share of T2 cases too, when our interns cannot solve it. One of our customers, who sells some gardening equipment, contacted us that their 2 NUCs at their production facilities need to be replaced. Nothing unusual, so we buy 2 new ones and get them ready. That includes OS updates, remote control software and some other customer specific software. Finally we install a VPN client and join their domain. I set up one of them and one of my bosses the other one. Somehow the one he set up is not working properly, or to be more precise, one of the software doesn't work properly on it. It just crashes when you try to send a customer order out of the software straight to Outlook. Sadly the software was written by a company for our customer and solely for that purpose at the time. They didn't plan to sell that software to anyone else, as it is too specific to be sold on the market. So the company didn't put too much effort into it. We contact the company but they don't reply to phone calls or emails. So we try to somehow figure it out by ourselves. But the software doesn't produce any error codes or crash logs. It just loads endlessly and can only be stopped with the help of good old Task Manager. We try several different steps as reinstall the software module, the whole software, the whole PC. We clone the working one, but to no avail. Still same symptoms. After almost a month we finally get a hold of that company and the reason why they haven't been replying is that the one employee, who wrote the software by himself, is no longer with the company. They reached out to him, pretty much begging him to help them out on this one. We got his email and phone number and started communicating. So we try some troubleshooting but he cannot figure it out either. Everything looks like it should. We do some SQL queries from both NUCs and both come out identical etc. Then he asks me to send him the output if I start the software through CMD and check the output inside the commander. And behold we finally get a clue. Some form of exception that software cannot handle. I don't have the source code, so I couldn't check which part causes it to crash. I sent him the exception and the next morning my boss starts to laugh maniacally. The other boss and I look over to him and he just makes a hand gesture for us to come over and look at his screen, as he cannot talk. What the other boss and I see is the response of that developer. Apparently, and for whatever reason, his code wants to play a sound whenever a work is successful. And since that NUC doesn't have a device attached that could play the sound, the software crashes. Since I worked as the internal sysadmin within a software development company, I somehow couldn't laugh at first. It just pained me. After several moments of being speechless and shaking my head, I install a virtual device on that NUC that is supposed to play sounds. Windows recognizes it and I test the software. It works. I call the people who work on those NUCs to tell that they can work on the NUC again, without telling them the cause of their problem. We inform the software company and let them handle the call with the superiors of our customer. Later on we find out that the other NUC has some speakers attached to it for music. That's why that one worked while the other one didn't. We want an engineer out right now. Few years ago I was supporting a company with an open plan office. They rang up saying, "Hi, we have an entire bank of desks without network. You are responsible." Me. "Hi, okay. Sounds like there is an issue with the switch on the desk. Can you tell me what lights are on?" Client. "None, there must be a network issue. Come out immediately." Me. "Sure. Before I come to site can you just check it's plugged in please?" Client. "It's plugged in. Everything works, your network is crap, come out right now." Hangs up. Now you all know how this ends. I just wish I could explain the look on their faces when I walked in and unplugged the extension cord from itself and into the wall socket. About as precious as their faces when I served them a £150 call out charge, which I generally waive. Big client. A ghost has possessed the machine. This is a story from a few years back while I was working overnight support for a hospital that was going live on a new medical record system. The night was pretty slow and I was perusing the issued ticket system and stumbled upon something gold. Ticket title: There's a ghost in the computer. Issue description: the computer is possessed. It's typing cryptic messages without anyone using the keyboard. The words are nonsense. I think it's speaking in tongues. Given the slow night, I was more than happy to check out the demonically possessed computer in person. I grabbed my crucifix and holy water and ventured out of the IT department to the hospital floor. Upon arrival, the nurses directed me to the unholy workstation. True to form, the computer was writing on its own. Shug fet clean. Beer problem. The nurse turned to me with contented validation that her ticket was accurate. The computer was really speaking in tongues. I smiled back and saw the issue immediately, but decided to have a little fun. Don't worry ma'am, I ain't afraid of no ghost. I reached around to the back of the workstation and unplugged the dictation microphone that some physician had left on. With that, the computer stopped documenting random ambient noise as text and went back to functioning normally. Demon exorcised, I headed back to my IT basement to await more devils to slay. You always make us perform unnecessary steps. At a firm I work for, our intranet was last reworked in 2013, back in the times when you could embed a Google search bar within your intranet sites. It was so outdated that it had the old Google branding. Nonetheless, we upgraded to SharePoint yesterday at 3 PM. At first we were confused because we were getting calls on the service desk of people frantically stating, "I can't access the internet, my browser has stopped working, how am I meant to search for something?" Then it dawned on us that our users relied so heavily on the embedded Google search, which is now removed, that they didn't know how to use the address bar. We've had to resort to sending out a QRG on how to use the address bar in various web browsers to stop the influx of calls on the service desk. I don't pay attention to those. Hello beautiful TFTS people. Here's a quick one for ya. This story is about a user we'll call Bob. All you need to know about Bob is that he's worked here for years, and that he's unfamiliar with the concept of an inside voice, much to the chagrin of our entire floor. This morning, Bob was complaining to his cube neighbor about the fact that he came in yesterday Sunday to try and get some work done, but a bunch of systems were down. Naturally, everyone in IT, and most everyone else in corporate, heard every word. What Bob apparently doesn't know is that every month, on the Sunday that's closest to the middle of the month, for at least the past 4 years, IT takes the servers down for maintenance. The maintenance window is always at the same time on Sunday afternoon. IT also sends a calendar invite for the maintenance window to all employees on the previous Monday, and then a reminder email on Friday morning. I happen to know for a fact that the invite and reminder were sent last week, because I'm the one who sent them and verified they were received. Fellow admin happened to be working near Bob and explained that the servers had been taken down for maintenance, and asked, "Didn't you get the email reminders?" Bob's response, "Oh, I don't pay attention to those." Dead inside. First time poster, so be kind please. This one is not so much funny as weird. I work in a major US hospital doing a computer refresh project. A few months ago I was wandering around the building we were refreshing at the time, and I knocked on a door to be let in. As I walked in I noticed the woman was all gowned up. As I am putting on all my garb, I am talking to her and looking around, and while doing so I just happened to see a body bag hanging from the ceiling. As you might have guessed, I just happened to walk into the morgue, where they also happen to do autopsies. Having seen autopsies on TV I thought, oh, cool. Let me tell you, autopsies on TV are nothing like the real thing. I am not one that creeps out easily, but I could not wait to get out of there. As a sidebar, I had to go back there a few days later to fix something with the new machine and walked into the middle of another autopsy. I think the next time I go into a morgue I will ask if they are doing autopsies.